GM, everybody. How you guys doing? Welcome to the show. There is a lot happening in the space. We have crypto drama. We have market crashing. We have FTX raining hell and raining fire down. Not very fun. A lot of people getting hurt. Not good times if you have your money on an exchange or if you're dealing with leverage. But if you're, not messing around, then you're not finding out. If you are messing around, you're finding out. A lot of people messing with ENS names, a lot of people thinking about DNS. We're talking about it all. And with the release of Twitter Blue, a lot of big important people are talking about Twitter Blue and ENS integrations. And we're looking at the entire value of DNS. We're looking at the entire value of ENS. And we're comparing all of it. We're talking about all of it. And so in just a few moments, it is right now, let's discuss. Hey everybody, I'm Gary Palmer Jr., you're you. Together we are minting coins. I have some great guests with us today, and to talk about all the things that we're going to talk about. We have a great show lined up. There's definitely enough to talk about. And first guest we have right in the door, ENS Punks. Hey ENS Punks, how are you doing? Want to introduce yourself, say who you are and who you are, what you do?
Yeah, hey Gary. So this is ENS Punks. Who I am. I am ENS Punks, apparently. No, it's, I'm Doc, so my name's Will. I am an attorney down in Miami, Florida, live out here on the beach. Been involved with ENS for a few years now, started building websites in the space, and just got active in the community. Like to build, like to onboard, like to educate. And thank you for the invite. Look forward to talking with you, kind of see where this goes. Excited you're starting up minting coins again, and be a guest on your show here.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Thanks to the listeners. Thanks to the subscribers. If anybody does want to help, does want to support, feel free to hit us up, youtube.com/mintingcoins. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, definitely comment. I definitely love seeing the engagement in the chat box, sharing the video. It's just like a Twitter Spaces with screen share, you know what I mean? Seeing the video, seeing the audio. Follow us on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. Working on our website, going to have a members only section. Going to be very, very interesting. We're going to have private videos, being able to say things that we can't necessarily say on YouTube, things that we don't want necessarily shared with the public. As ENS Punks is, well aware of, what we do on YouTube is in the public domain. What we do on the members website, stays on the members website. That's our content that we own. So if you want to get access to that, feel free to subscribe, become a supporter. It's going to help us continue doing what we do and pushing this forward. So, yeah, I think, first thing first, I'm not sure if people are worried yet. I think like a percentage of people are worried. The closer they are to the FTX fiasco, the more worried that they are. But I think this FTX X fiasco, I think we haven't even begun to see the beginning of it. I think like this is going to cause a lot of crap to roll downhill, and I think like this can definitely cause the market to go lower, which can for me it's fine, but it does concern a lot of people with their buying habits. And in my experience, when the price of Ethereum Ether fluctuates, then that has a huge effect on the people's psychology. If they're spending a $4,000 Ethereum when they're spending 0.1, or if they're spending $100 at 0.1 because Ethereum is 1,000, right? So what do you think about the FTX thing and the coming doom and gloom, or do you think that's just, you think it's all going to roll over?
Not at all. So we had a great discussion about this in a space following the ENS update space yesterday, just to really specifically talk about what's going on with the FTX. Of course, at the time, there was like a proposed, I don't know if I should call it an acquisition or bailout from Binance, something, and the number publicly sort of being thrown around was $2 billion. Like, look, when you talk about $2 billion, it's not a snap call. That just doesn't happen on a whim. Again, these are players in the space, and they have a lot of information at their fingertips that the public doesn't. But ultimately, every time this happens in the crypto space, and it's unfortunate that it does, is, these exchanges go under, these sort of centralized projects go under, and it's always the same type of situation. You've never seen a decentralized protocol go under. There's always, it's always, it's quasi, P2P decentralized technology, but the ones where there's always a controversy is the one where there are trust involved, and lo and behold, it's the prime example of why we want trustless technology, P2P, decentralization. And so these things don't happen. So they don't take our money and over leverage it. And I don't think it is over by any means. It never is. These things unfold very slowly in the market. And, there are people who have funds frozen who are more directly going to be hurt financially. And it is a very painful thing, very real stories behind the numbers. It never gets like enough discussion, enough light shed on that. And then kind of what always happens, right? It impacts the rest of us in the market because these episodes are so large financially. Again, even if there's a $2 billion bailout, markets would be tanking, losses, occur. And, these are very real losses, and it impacts everybody to an extent. So like you said, it might not directly affect you, like the people whose money is locked up. They can't do the withdrawals. They're, holding some sort of asset that crashes to zero, but you are holding assets in a global market. The assets you're holding are negatively affected, and it is a shame. And sort of one of like where I said, well, I think I'm just of a certain age where I am jaded, and I sort of look at these episodes as glass half empty, although I'd like to look at it as this is great because people are going to learn their lesson. They don't ever learn the lesson. They just repeat the same issues and problems and cycles. Whereas I think, what you'll see is the big players, again, because they have control of the narrative, they will say, you see, this is why we need regulation and regulators, and all that would do is entrench, the traditional players in their position of power, secure it, really kind of hurt, what we're ultimately aiming for is decentralization. So that's my take on it in a not so roundabout fashion, but, sort of, I think we've got some time to see it all unfold. And it's just heart goes out to, people who might be financially ruined and are going to face some real hardship as a result.
Yeah, well, a big part of it is not your keys, not your coin, right? And let me see, how do I make this bigger? There we go. It's probably the perfect right there. Not your keys, not your coin, right? And and we talk about decentralized versus decentralized, and we look at Sam Bankman-Fried, who some people I think are referring to now as scam banker fraud. And what happened? That we talked about this 2 days ago on this show. 0x, and we talked about it, the day after with 0x Wizard, and yesterday with Gwayman. We were talking about this, and we were referencing this tweet from Sam, and it was saying that a competitor is trying to go after us with false rumors. FTX is fine, assets are fine. Sam was saying, and I was talking about this specifically. Sam was saying that they have enough to cover all the client holdings, that they don't invest client assets, not even the treasuries. And, since then, all these tweets were deleted, and it's just people, he wrote this, and everyone has trust in this guy. He's the largest, exchange, right? It's like, has his name on a stadium, all those deals with Tom Brady. And, it turns out the emperor was wearing no clothes. And the whole time he's fighting for regulation, saying, hey, we should be regulated. Hey, we should be regulated. And it turns out that, the reason, I don't have the tweet up here, but CZ, said that Binance walked away, possibly because of irregularities, potential fraud people are alluding to. And if, the funny thing is that regulators might want to come in, and regulators might want to, add more regulation, when the answer isn't more regulation. The answer is more decentralization. It's more DeFi. It's more transparency, right? Let me see here. Yeah, there's this where there's this graph. You know about this graph? The fuck around and find out graph that's Sam went along. But before I throw this over to Novax, who just joined, here's a tweet from Jeff Lau that said that, he said here in his tweet, remember that this space is all about, there's can't do evil, and then there's don't do evil. And the space isn't about don't do evil. The space is about can't do evil, right? This is about Web3 being not having to trust, because the protocol is in the middle. And everybody knows how the protocol works. And there's lots of developers all over the world that can see 100% of the code. They can test it. They know how it interacts. They know that there could be no middleman attacks, so they understand if there is an attack, how is that attack, how does that attack happen, on the protocol, right? So like Bitcoin, we know how like a 51% attack can happen. We can prevent that. With ENS names, we understand how an attack can happen with like a DAO attack, and we can look out for those. So trustless protocols. But Novax, what do you think? Do you think like this is going to cause the market to crash a lot more, and people should be like a little prepared for the market to, for this to cause the market to dip? Not financial advice, of course, but is this potentially a risk that we shouldn't just gloss over, or is this like a nothing to worry about if you're not invested into exchanges?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. And I just want to say I really appreciate the opportunity to come and be on the space with you here, and
yeah,
do
who
this
are you?
this
Tell
way.
us who you are.
Well, it's a different vibe when you're out of the Twitter spaces and you're getting the jams, a good house music going, and I love this. I'm Novax. I'm oftentimes found on Twitter hosting spaces having to do with ENS, Ethereum Name Service, and that's a wonderful little deviation from our DNS.coms, and has some amazing utility for receiving and sending payments and hosting content and so much more, avatars, etc., etc. Other crypto wallets? Are you kidding? ENS is everything, guys. So I'm about it. I'm heavily invested in ENS. I have like over 700 domains. Probably the majority of them are crap. It's a reality. Hand registered a lot of junk, and can't wait to get it out of my wallet for giveaways and freebies and whatever before it expires. Just let it have a life. But yeah, I'm here to talk with you, man, about whatever you want to talk about. So hey, just throw that question at me again. Should we be worried? I don't
want to say worried, but it's like it's $8 billion that real human beings, like some of those human beings are people like you and me. Some of them are doing better than us. Some of them, some of them are doing worse than us. Like FTX, like they they're targeted a lot of gamers. They target a lot of like, it's like there's different people, but it's $8 billion. And and now they got to sell, you know what I mean? And then, you know, that puts a lot of sell pressure on things like Solana, right? It puts a lot of sell pressure on things like Bitcoin. People are going to like lose a lot of money. And I'm just thinking about, you know, it's kind of like Yoda. Yoda. Yeah. You know, I'm thinking about like much pain in the universe. You know what I mean? Like all those like $8 billion in lives just like snuffed out. All this sell pressure coming to Solana. You know, Bitcoin dropped like, you know, to what, like $16,000 a day. You know, I just want to, you know, just ask, is this like a larger like concern for people? And if you're watching this video, like this video.
Yeah, if you're watching, you better like and subscribe, and don't just follow here. Follow on Twitter and everywhere. Gary Palmer Jr. is doing great things. Web3 Domains is an extraordinary, before its time, understanding of where this is all going. So I want to be kind of thorough in answering you, but not, you know, too long-winded here. So I think that basically my experience is the best way to talk about this, from our own testimony of what we've experienced. And I'm a not your keys, not your coins kind of a guy, right? That's my disposition. I started mining crypto in 2017. I was being censored on conventional social media platforms, protesting pharmaceutical corruption, pharmaceutical and government collusion. And I said, you know, in 2017, I said, we're getting censored over here. We can't even put our videos and our documentary out. It led me, once that whole project wrapped up, a friend of mine said, what are you doing with these GPUs? What do you point them at Ethereum? You're mining Ethereum? I said, what's that? Let's go. Started out pointing at Miner Farm or whatever. Got started, right? Started learning, and I wrote my thesis in college that year on blockchain as a means of preserving freedom of expression in 2017. At the whole while, Gary, I was putting money into centralized exchanges, and I was also doing some trading on IDEX and Ether Delta. Bro, the earliest stuff. It was fascinating to me, and I was exploring in the context of my education in tech entrepreneurship and management. So it was really kind of a playground for me, and I played a little bit less from a prudent investment perspective, but more as like a kid, you know, in a candy store. I wanted a little taste of everything, and so I got a whole collection of shitcoins. It'd be a real fun episode to review my shitcoin bag, because it's embarrassing. But you know, I had a lot of good experiences there, but it taught me really, I can't tell you how many of those centralized exchanges I got rugged on, man. Almost every single damn one of them dried up, went out of business. One of them actually emailed me my freaking private. They took my private. They export everything to a wallet, to a paper wallet, and they emailed me the private keys. They said, "Here you go. We settled with it's like some New Zealand exchange or some crap." You know what I mean? And I got rugged out of original Binance. Went to Binance US. Barely escaped with some BNB that ended up later mooning up to 400 from like 20 or 30 or whatever. Shoot, I got rugged. I'm still rugged on Hit BTC. I probably have maybe as much as 10 or 20 grand in there now, but that's just stuck because I'm a U.S. citizen, bro, and I'm not getting it out unless I hand the keys, the password, and do the whole 2FA with somebody who's got the ability to authenticate it. And stories go on. So anyway, that's my answer. Is just learn the lesson. Don't use the tools. FTX have been predatory, dog. You know that. And I want to say that just explicitly, but look at the markets that they gone after. Just like you said, they had a certain niche market that they're going at, and I even didn't know about them until I heard from some people who were doing some super leveraged trades in some weird derivative markets. I was like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? So that's all.
Yeah, a lot of like people get hurt a lot with exchanges, you know, because like, you know, what is it? Ladies, liquor, and leverage, or is it liquor, ladies, and leverage? One of the two. And you know, it's like ladies and liquor, you go broke, but leverage kills. And you know, yeah, $8 billion loss. You know that it's probably compounded. What do you think about the leverage that people, you know, use that money for, right? Like, you know, essentially using their rent money, or using money they didn't have, or, you know, using money that they really otherwise needed. Yeah, but yeah, just to wrap it all up, punks. I mean, any last thoughts on that before we switch topics?
Well, it's funny. I think all three of us have kind of a similar take on it. That, you know, what is the problem? centralization and the poor decision making of these individuals. It is, unfortunately, it is the human element. And that human element always leads to pain to humans. And, in this particular instance, it's probably leverage. You pointed to some great stuff. The fuck around, find out chart is pretty funny. And, but, the idea, it should not come as a surprise, right? That the founder is out there saying, we don't invest customer funds. They're trying to make a $2 billion bailout deal. And I would say, look, when it comes to Binance, I have personal stories as well from clients who've had substantial amount of funds locked up. And, Novak shared a personal story. He had funds locked up. I think a lot of people were in that same boat, right? If you happen to be in the US, maybe you went to go log in and access your funds. And well, lo and behold, you can't log in. You probably ended up having to get a VPN and say you're, somewhere in like Hong Kong in order to get your funds out. And even then, the services were limited. You probably couldn't convert tokens, had to transfer them one by one. At the time, if gas was high, you left behind substantial amount of funds. So it's just all these bad practices where the things you touched on, not your keys, not your crypto for sure. But yeah, P2P, get out of there, utilize the decentralization. You can be the market maker, DeFi. That's the beautiful thing. You can, guess what? You can make the money here. You can ensure your money will not be frozen. And so a little bit of that, of course, is what we often talk about specifically because we're kind of the ENS community is, with respect to censorship resistant websites. But, underneath that, what we're built on is Ethereum, the blockchain, but, the token. And so also let's keep in mind censorship resistant money. Your money should never be frozen. So I'll read one quote. I like to say this. So it's one of the original crypto punks. He became the founder.
If either one of you guys want to share your screen, you could share your screen just so you know. Oh. But yeah, go on with the quote.
I see a present. I want to be careful. I got half and half. So
I know.
I'll just read it off.
Totally.
But it's so.
If anyone wants to share their private keys too, you're welcome to share your private keys also for reading.
Well, Gary shared his screen, and I was like, oh, he might have more tabs open than me. So I wouldn't be. That'd be all right, but who knows what my tabs happen to be?
My tabs are curated. What I'm sharing is curated for this show. So
I looked. I like those are clean. Mine maybe not so much. No, but so one of the original crypto punks. Cypher punks. So we're talking early '90s cryptography. Proponents of cryptography, and he became one of the founders of the Electronic Frontier Foundation. So, that is very personal to me as a lawyer. I support them, love what they do. But his is kind of specific to law, but I'll read it off. How many of you have broken no laws this month? That's the kind of society I want to build. I want to guarantee with physics and mathematics, not with laws, that we can give ourselves real privacy and personal communications. Now, it's very important. It is sort of specific to law, EFF, of course, but it is also about our money. It is also, whether it's our governments who are just out there printing, basically liquidating the holdings in our bank account, whether it happens to be one of these centralized exchanges or PayPal for that matter, that can freeze our funds without any recourse. We want guarantees. We want censorship resistant money. We want censorship resistant, websites, speech, and these are going to be guarantees that we make with physics and mathematics, not with laws and regulation. And that's coming from a lawyer. So, I would not be kind of downplaying my own industry and profession, but I believe, I want trustlessness. So I'll leave it with that before we jump to the next topic.
Punks doesn't have his seed phrase on his local machine. He's got that buried in 12 different coffee cans all around the U.S.
Who told you no vax?
We were talking about security and what happens to your keys after you die.
Well,
Sorry,
hold
I
on.
think it was from you.
Yeah, I was going to say, Gary, it looks like you're talking, but I wasn't hearing you. Okay.
Yeah. I was responding to Novak. Yeah, no, I was gonna say he just did a scan of the whole computer, and he's like, "Oh man, there's nothing good here." So that's why he's saying that. He's like, "Oh, Gary really has his machine pretty clean." But yeah, the EFF is an organization that's near and dear to my heart, and so EFF has this browser plugin, which I would recommend that people check out. Sometimes plugins cause problems, but on my machines, I don't know what I got going on, but I don't see any ads whatsoever. And this is one of the reasons why. This is not a paid advertisement. This is just like a product that I use. The HTTPS everywhere from the EFF, Electronic Frontier Foundation. And then if you just Google EFF browser plugins or whatever, you should be able to find this page, which is the 5 EFF tools to help you protect yourself online, including the privacy badger and the HTTPS everywhere. And you can just check it out and do your own research and whatnot. But let's see here. We got a new guest on the call. And this new guest of ours, how you doing? Why don't you introduce yourself?
Is that
the cap? You are the cap.eth, if I may say, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you for having me. First of all, I apologize for being a little bit late. Where I'm at, it's 3:30 in the morning, and I accidentally just woke up just because I remembered I promised I'm gonna be here, and it's just like,
oh man, you should have told me. I would have let you sleep. I didn't know. You gotta let me know.
No, I mean it's my bad. I mean I told you I was gonna be here, so yeah, I needed to get up and just quickly come and say hi. We've never met before, but I know you're a huge ENS advocate and the delegate and whatnot. You're pretty big in the ENS community. So yeah, I needed to come and say hi. I see the ENS punks are here. Great guys. So yeah. Anyway, what are we talking about? I'm happy to chime in with my 2 cents on anything, but I can't stay for very long, for very obvious reasons, given the recent events and whatnot. I think all of us have been kind of damaged with what happened with crypto. So yeah, I think I'm gonna take a few days. I need some rest, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess let's talk about it, because that's exactly what we were just talking about. I mean, we were wrapping up that conversation, but yeah, just, before we do wrap it up, we could put a bow on it. It sounds like you have had an experience. We were just talking about, how this is going to affect a lot of people, and who is this going to affect, and is this something that we should talk about, or is this something that people are just going to gloss over? And so, I mean, what do you think? Do you think this is like a big deal that's going to affect a lot of people, and do you think this is just an experience that, people, have to learn or relearn to not mess around, to not mess around with the, leverages, and not mess around with trusting your keys and trusting your coins on centralized exchanges? What's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I was pretty, I took a pretty big hit because I took a long, I never really trade a lot, but I took a long position on Solana. Literally yesterday, I was looking at it and it looked just splendid because it didn't move for a very long time. It was at macro lows and whatnot. So I said, let's take a long position, because that was buzzing around that, we're going to experience some pumps short term, whatever. And I never really trade, man, honestly. But yeah, for some reason I took a long position and I took huge loss. But anyway, I think this is a huge event. And like normally I'm just a regular guy who keeps everything on chain. Like I have close to zero on centralized exchanges, and I don't know, man, what else needs to happen that people learn that not your keys, not your coins. Like what needs to happen? Like we see the giants fall, man, the giants fall. Like even with Luna, with so many DeFi protocols during this mania phase in the last 12 months. But specifically with Luna, like who thought that Luna would fail? Like that was like 20 to 40 billion liquidated.
Who thought FTX would fail? I mean, except some people, but who,
like, with such a huge persona behind it, like the guy who's like, promoting effective altruism, who's going to leave all of his wealth behind to the poor, and who's changing the world, and who's like on Times and Forbes and magazines, like on the cover pages and whatnot. And like for what? It's just because they wanted a little more. That's what's bugging me. That's what's like the most annoying thing about it. Like just like does that like 2 or 3% increase in all of your portfolios mean that much that you put at risk like the entire enterprise and everything that you've been doing for the past like it's not even like your business, but like your entire reputation? That's just what's annoying. And like obviously these people are gonna be fine. They're just like gazillionaires. Who cares? They're gonna be fine. But it's the little guy that put like $100 or a few $1,000s in there that's gonna take a huge loss or whatever. So yeah, that's what's really bugging me.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry to hear that for you. And I'm sorry to hear about it for everybody. You know what I mean? It's just such a difficult, sort of experience to go through. I mean, especially when you have in America, coming from the American perspective, they do stupid things. The FTX do stupid things like stupid in terms of silly marketing, where they put their name on the whole stadium, and they got Tom Brady vouching for them, and it just creates for an awkward situation, because people, right, we just, like humans, like I guess we keep on making this mistake of putting all of our trust in just a few people, and and for one reason or another, it doesn't go well. And that's why we're here for decentralization, right? So like we could be responsible for our own actions. And so but at the same time, it's it's not good to have this keep on happening, for people to keep on trusting centralized exchanges.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's why I'm so super bullish on DAOs. And I mean decentralization as an entire concept. Like I've been in crypto since 2018 for a very good reason. And with the rise of DAOs, and especially the ENS DAO is such an exemplary way that you can build an organization that is functional, that includes a few different layers in terms of who are decision makers and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Novax, yeah. Why do I got two Novax? Which Novax is the real Novax?
Well, the real Novax, please stand up. I thought I'd come in with my hood so that I could do any sharing if I wanted to share. So I was just kind of checking out to see if we wanted to do any 24-hour club talk.
Just making sure I got two real Novax.
Yeah, it's not a fake. It's just the other me.
Just making sure Novax's machine didn't get hacked or ghosted.
Never.
Never say never, Peter Pan. All right, so so we can pivot. Next here, what I was thinking that we could talk about. Oops. Let's see here. I want to push one of these buttons. Oh, I need to share my screen again. Let me share my screen again. Sorry about that. And Yeah. How do I maximize this?
I like this setup, by the way, Gary. While you're tooling with it, I just want to say it's really friendly to get on here from mobile and desktop. Really easy to get dialed in, and the quality is good. So, I mean, well done getting it all dialed. It's a nice thing you got going.
Thanks, man. Well, I really appreciate you guys like showing up and hanging out with me. So the next thing I want to talk about was just the new Twitter Blue. So there's a new Twitter Blue. I noticed that, you know, basically half of all of our folks that I see on the regular on Twitter have already upgraded. There's a lot of people that already had Twitter Blue, and they, you know, you still had to upgrade because previously the Twitter Blue was like what, like $4, and now the new Twitter Blue is double that, $8. And with this new Twitter Blue, everyone gets the blue check mark. And when you hover over the check mark, it says, you know, this person has a check mark because they subscribe to Twitter Blue. But they have the check mark, and it's going to come with a lot of benefits, right? This check mark, you get to do the hexagon PFP. You get to do, you know, a lot of cool stuff. Let me think. I don't know if I didn't prepare to show you this, but I don't know if I should. But yeah, there's nothing. So I don't have that to show. But so with the Twitter Blue, there's probably going to be a lot of stuff coming out. Elon Musk has said that there's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of updates. They're going to come fast. They're going to come furiously. Here we have like a billionaire tech VC investor talking about ENS for binding e-signatures, using ENS, you know, for Twitter binding e-signatures. We have them talking about, you know, using it for ring signatures, allowing people to implement this today. If a certain number of people put their ENS domain name on their Twitter profile, of which we know for a fact there's over 100,000 at the ETH leaderboard, I think .xyz, and that ENS right now has a public key lookup method, right? So there's a lot of reasons to add ENS. Again, just going on and on and on. Twitter, ENS, Elon Musk. I need someone on the memes immediately, and please tag, you know, me and minting coins, because you can't spell ENS. Literally, you can't spell ENS without, or you can't spell Elon Musk without ENS. It's literally like in the ENS. You know what I mean? There's some sort of like cipher code here, right? It's like it's there all along. Yeah, just using Twitter as a Web3 protocol. And you guys heard about this, right? This is like the same guy on Lex Fridman, right? Talking to Lex Fridman about using ENS on Twitter as identity, as payments, as website links, as unlimited data fields, unlimited subdomains. This is a great video. I'm going to play it real quick. Tell me if you guys can hear it.
Purposes. But the new concept is that pseudonym, you can have multiple of them, by the way. Your ENS name, you could have it under your quote real name or state name, like lexfriedman.eth, but you could also be punk6529.eth, okay? And now you can earn, you can sign documents, you can boot up stuff, you can have a persistent identity here, okay, which has a level of indirection to your real name. But why is that very helpful? Because now it's harder to both discriminate against you and cancel you from purpose.
Yeah, so it's harder to discriminate against you. It's hard to cancel you. Your information is online. He's talking to Lex Fridman about this. He's talking to Elon Musk about this. He's talking like over and over and over again, the utility of ENS for the use case of Twitter. We have Matt Higgins, who, you know, knows a thing or two about enterprise business, saying that .eth will be the face of Twitter, right? Like all big stuff. There's like so much I couldn't fit it in all here because it'd just be me going on and on. So with Elon Musk talking about all this, we got our request in here that we would like our official ENS.eth name to be our verified Twitter Web3 profile. And, you know, Elon Musk is just, you know, going on and in and on about the, you know, what's going to happen and the changes. And, you know, right straight from the lips of sign in with Ethereum, you know, Twitter account, when Twitter's ready to integrate sign in with Ethereum, we're here. The sign in with Ethereum team is here. The ENS community is there. and Twitter's already halfway ready to be using sign with Ethereum. Twitter already has like the wheels greased with their other integrations, like for example, with the PFP integrations and with a lot of other things happening behind the scenes. So, you know, how realistic do you think this is? Do you think this would drive a lot of hype? Do you think like the several VCs that are obviously like publicly involved in ENS, like how much do you think they're reaching out to Elon and saying, hey, we have to get signing with Ethereum integrated with Twitter? What do you think, Novax?
Well, tell me, am I coming through okay right now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just switched my headset setup here. You know, I think you basically have an extraordinary amount of utility, and the potential for anonymity is there, but it's also the potential for it to break down is there too. So I think we got to be kind of sensitive to that. Actually, I was at the DMV at some point in the last year, and the person at the counter kind of turned the screen toward me and everything. It had all my like political affiliation stuff on there, and I was like, oh, I hope she agrees with me. Like, because it was just awkward, and I realized that there's no reason why it has to be like that now necessarily, but with encryption and an added layer of anonymity, those kind of things could be averted, and the same utility could be there. So I think it's cool, and I think all the sign-in with Ethereum stuff is just the most ubiquitous use case, and we'll presumably see it go everywhere. Don't you think?
What do you think, Punks? Like, do you think Twitter's going to do the sign with Ethereum, and or do you think another sort of large social network, like who if a Twitter doesn't do sign with Ethereum, what social network could possibly beat them the market if not Twitter?
It's a fun thing to speculate on. Here's an interesting thing about Twitter. Since it went public, I think it's only ever turned a profit in 1 year. Every other year, it's made losses. So, it's I guess, hey, that's expected for all these high growth tech startups, pre-IPO. But once you IPO, you've got actual sort of public investors who do expect their investment, to make money. And, it's interesting, sort of, it's almost like, all right, we're giving up on the advertising model, and we're going to actually just try to do some sort of additional freemium. Like you said, they already had Twitter Blue. They figured out a way. All right, we could probably double that fee, get some more buyers of this, that premium. And what can we offer to incentivize that? And the blue check mark. It's sort of like, these are not random decisions. It's not let's see. I mean, tons of analysis go into this. There are, tons of analysts whose sole job is to figure this out, crunch the numbers. So here's the real problem with adding sign-in with Ethereum to Twitter. You might potentially remove a brand new source of revenue for them that they might have been banking on, because that, again, it's the beauty of ENS. It is the beauty of the technology is you don't need these check marks. You don't need, verification. It is self-verified. And so I have a hard time seeing, a public company cannibalize itself. That's my hesitation. But like you said, look, you've got Matt Higgins, you have Balaji, who are promoting ENS, and they are people with connections. Notwithstanding how many of us and how passionate our community is, look, it sometimes takes somebody with a larger platform, and it could be that one single voice. I think Balaji's got a great voice, a great platform. In particular, it was the Lex Friedman podcast. That thing was almost 8 hours long. And one of my favorite parts about it, and it was within that clip you played, funny enough, he's talking not only about ENS and some of the benefits of it, but he gives a particular name, and I've been keeping my eye on that name. That name's available. One reason I think it's funny is because I'm ENS Punks, and the name he threw out there is Punk6529.e. You could be sick, Punk6529.e. And I looked it up immediately. I was like, oh, it's available. Maybe I should register it. And I'm just waiting for somebody from our community to do it. Maybe after minting coins here. So I'll leave that little alpha in here as a little Easter egg. Congratulations. This is your call to action. Get that name. You deserve it for supporting Gary and the ENS community.
I don't know, man. I saw a tweet. Someone's registering, just like in the 10K club. Someone's registering Punk in every number 1 to 10,000. So someone's doing that right now.
I saw that somebody tagged me. I think somebody thought it was probably me behind it. I am not behind that effort. It is pretty funny, but I saw the same thing. Somebody's making they seem to be calling them plays within the community. But look, obviously, listen, I talk about this all the time. Again, coming from my background in law, and specifically corporate transactions, which, a big part of that is IP, of course. And I talk about IP all the time. It is the most valuable intangible asset of any business. And, you have a company like Facebook at the time, and they gave up the Facebook IP in a sense. Sure, the Facebook product is still called Facebook, but they rebranded the corporate structure to Meta. I think it's Meta Platforms, maybe the legal name, but Meta is what they're going by for all their services. Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, I'm guessing, is underneath that umbrella. And that is no small thing. It is no small thing for any company of that size. The IP of Facebook alone might be valued $60 to $80 billion. So find me another company that size that just willfully rebrands. It does not happen. Why did Facebook do it? They see the writing on the wall. We've seen their adoption, most recently NFTs via, I think, just Polygon into Instagram. So I'm cautiously optimistic. It could be them. Could very well be, Mark Zuckerberg. He does make decisions. I'll give him credit for that. Seeing the writing on the wall, rebranding to Meta, that is a Web3 play. And, they keep slowly creeping towards integrations, and it very possible could be them. Of course, I would love to see it be Twitter to start, but realistically, it does not matter. One of those platforms makes the move, they will all fall in line and they will all do it. So that is one of the positives for us, I think, as a community, because I think, again, as a community, we could organize, we could start making demands, and we would get attention. And, it is almost a no-brainer. Why wouldn't they? Again, I gave that little kind of hesitation with Twitter because they are monetizing now with the blue check mark, and signing with Ethereum might sort of detract from that revenue stream. So I would hedge my bets and probably say Meta via Instagram might possibly be the most likely to do it. But our community primarily, I think, is on Twitter. So to me, that's a no-brainer to do it with Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, all true, especially about the what do you call it? The Meta Zuckerberg stuff. But he just went, was it today or yesterday or so, and apologized for the mistakes he's made a little bit, and firing, about what would they say, 10% of the workforce, or 10 or 14,000 people, which is crazy. There's over 100,000 people that work at Facebook. But yeah, like laying off all those people. But I guess, if you think about it, some of the decisions that Facebook made, that Meta, I guess, right, that Meta made, they made decisions to create not just a metaverse, but a centralized metaverse, right? They didn't make strategic decisions. Not that I really saw. They didn't make strategic decisions for moving toward an open metaverse, right? They didn't build on top of Ethereum out of the gate. they were building closed systems.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that had, I wonder what would have happened if they would have gone that opposite direction.
I personally think it's inevitable that they go opposite direction, because initially I believe they wanted to launch their own blockchain, and I believe they had their coins in the making called Libra and Diem, if I remember correctly. So
Libra was the company and Diem was the name of the coin.
yeah,
And but the project name got changed, and then the project got like scrapped.
Yep. I think that decentralized industry, like we as a community, like as a global community, this global initiative that started with, Satoshi Nakamoto, we did a good job of, just making sure that everything is working along with the nature, with our ethos that we represent as a global industry. So no centralization, complete trustlessness, permissionlessness, and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know. I have a question about signing with Ethereum. If you guys know, because you're familiar with the project, is that a public goods initiative, or is it a privately funded, like a startup?
Yeah, so signing with Ethereum, it's similar to ENS. Signing with Ethereum was an RFP got put out through ENS Labs in the ENS DAO, and that RFP got awarded to a private company, Web3 company called Spruce. Is it Spruce or it's Spruce ID? And Spruce ID worked to create the standard for the EIP 4361 of how to do signing with Ethereum. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? What are the considerations? What are the best practices? And so signing with Ethereum is a public good. It's just like code or a protocol, or it's like a standard, or a protocol. It's like a standard. It's like this is like the standard way of not just connecting your wallet. A lot of people think that signing with Ethereum is connecting your wallet. It's the standard way of not just connecting your wallet, but authenticating the wallet. And when that wallet authentication happens, your ENS name for that wallet is automatically recognized as the authentic username for that wallet and the authentic wallet. And so it's a private company building, just like ENS Labs is a private company building an open protocol.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And there's details in there, like if you're more on the technical side, there's in between servers that are used, and sometimes it's difficult to keep those servers up or to run those servers, and there's always like technical detail and nuance to like how things work. And so it's we can go into the super details another day.
Yeah. Okay.
You guys got any thoughts about that, Punks? Or and we got like a comment from Ron. I don't know if this is like the Ron. It's a Ron. And I think when Twitter adds wallets with digital assets, then they will need a stronger sign-in process. Okay, and maybe at that point they will utilize sign-in with Ethereum, and it would not compete with the blue check. Yeah, so multiple things going on in that. So when Twitter adds the wallets with digital assets, so right now they connect with wallets to do PFPs, right? So not sure if Ron here is saying when Twitter adds an actual cryptocurrency wallet, because we know did you guys hear that Twitter applied to do payments on the Twitter platform? And so if Twitter applied to do payments on the Twitter platform, it is, just like what do you call it? Instagram is doing NFTs. It's possible that they can connect with the wallet too. And yeah, if they're going to connect with the wallet, they absolutely, Ron's 100% correct. They would absolutely need a stronger sign-in process. And the Web 1 sign-in process was just your username and password. Your Web 2 sign-in process was login with Google or login with Facebook or something like that. And the Web 3 sign-in process is signing with Ethereum, and that's the most secure possible. Like it's PGP encryption. It's just like PGP encryption, super awesome, and it would not compete with the blue check. I think it's going to be the same thing as the blue check, Ron. I think that when someone signs up for Twitter Blue, when they sign up for Twitter Blue, they're going to get the hexagon PFP. They're going to get the priority visibility. They're going to get the sign-in with Ethereum, not just the sign-in with Ethereum. They're going to get the ENS name verification. They're going to get the blue check. It's sort of like they're going to get all of it. That's what I think is going to happen. Really, really good thoughts there. Really good insights. We have a new guest coming into the room. A new guest. I'm the Batman.eth. What's up? I'm the Batman.eth. Who are you? I'm the Batman.eth. And what's your story and what do you do?
Hey guys, what's going on? Yeah, I'm the Batman. Nothing much. I'm just a normal guy, just building in Web3 right now. I'm a graphic designer, crypto enthusiast, and I'm just here for the community and the fun. And some of these guys, I followed them in the Twitter space and stuff like that. So when I got in touch with you earlier, I knew I had to connect with you, man.
Cool. So you're a graphic designer and you're in Web3. I have a question for you. You ready?
Yeah.
Did you know that you can't spell Elon Musk without the letters ENS in that order?
I did not know.
Yeah, I think someone needs to do some sort of meme about that.
Okay. I'll get on it right now.
I'm not putting that on you, but I'm just putting it out there.
Hey, look, somebody's got to get to it first, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we were just talking. So Ron's saying that if Ethereum doesn't do the sign-in with Ethereum, then Facebook's going to do the sign-in with Ethereum, and I don't know. It kind of gets me thinking about Polygon. It kind of gets me thinking, when is Polygon gonna? I think I'm going to answer my own question. Like, basically we have Chainlink CCIP and the CCIP read. And with CCIP read, I guess the question is, when are we going to see, companies like maybe Facebook use CCIP read with ENS, and maybe they're waiting for the ENS name wrapper so that they could do, sign in with Ethereum on Polygon. I'm not exactly sure, but I'd be interested in learning what the limitations are. I'm not sure if we have anyone that technical on the call, because
it's Garrett, can I jump in? It's awesome you brought this up.
Yeah, jump in. Just jump in whenever you want, guys.
So one, I wanted to comment on the question / comment from Ron. That's easily something I sort of overlooked with kind of, again, sort of playing, just doing a little Socratic method in my own mind with this, the blue check mark. And that does open the door. And then sort of like you're saying, hey, the sign in with Ethereum, I didn't really even think about it in this potential direction, that could also be a paid for service, because, right, you want to import your own handle, your ENS handle. Hey, you're going to have to pay the $48. I could see that as a possibility. Again, one of the problems they have is, and all the time they've been public, they've only turned a profit once. They are looking to make money. I mean, that's what public businesses need to do. But so to your question here, this is great, about Polygon, L2s, CCIP. So just this week, everybody here kind of knows my story as the lawyer filing a trademark for GeoCities because I registered geocities.eth. And so almost every new naming service I see that pops up.
That's a good story. I'm sorry, man. We got to get that into an article on Web3 domains, but it's such a good story. Keep it going. You're GeoCities trademark holder. Go on.
Well, I owe you an article. I said I'd step up, do a law article. I think that'd be a great one to do. Even as a lawyer, I'm extremely proud of that particular work, just because it's that Web3 pirate attitude. And so here we are. This week, I get on a Twitter on Monday, and somehow in my feed, I see this new Twitter account. And I was actually thinking about it in my own mind, and there it is. It says Polygon Name Service, PNS. And I thought, well, that's interesting. And sure enough, they're minting. And so I, see these new name services for better or worse. I jump in, I see if geocities.pol is available for minting. It is. And I register it. It's not too bad, whatever, $5, something like that, because it's a long name. And so, hey, one more GeoCities asset on Web3 I secured. And look, this is before even researching it. But then I researched it, and it is pretty interesting. So effectively, what it looks like they did is they used CCIP. And so this Polygon name service, which is not, it's not an official project associated with Polygon-Matic. And it's funny to say that because you don't really say ENS is an official or unofficial project of Ethereum because it's all, fully decentralized. But when you talk about Polygon-Matic, there's enough. You're bleeding the line, centralization, decentralization. You do say this is not an official Polygon-Matic, name service, but nevertheless, it is called Polygon Name Service. It is on L2. It's a Polygon asset. And so the interesting thing here is, okay, so if you wanted to send ENS Punks a token to geocities.pol through MetaMask, you would have to affix .eth. So it'd be geocities.pol.eth. And you would say, well, why is that? And the answer is this, because it is CCIP. This Polygon name service is actually built upon the Ethereum name service. So I'm guessing what they really are is pol.eth would be my guess. And so they're using CCIP to take the ENS name and have these, naming assets on the Polygon L2. So it's funny. It's a lot of people, the few people who understood all this from the technical aspect were actually kind of like, oh, it's not a real Polygon name service. And all I'm thinking was, this is actually a very awesome example of what CCIP is on ENS. Why aren't we talking about this? We should be championing it a little bit because it is pretty cool. It shows you what CCIP is. It shows you how you can build on ENS. You can make your own sort of L2 name service, which again, you could do with the subdomains and everything else. And that's, I suppose, effectively what they did. But, the way they're trying to market it and couch it is this Polygon name service, whereas they may have done themselves an injustice and disservice doing that, as opposed to coming straight to the ENS community and really highlighting that it's an ENS project. It just so happens they're using CCIP to, put the names on Polygon. So it is possible. In a way, it's being done, and in my mind, it's a pretty cool example of what this cross-chain interoperability protocol can do. Just one example, there are things we can't even think about, but one implementation of it that I thought was pretty neat.
If you, I know you don't want to share your screen, so if you have any links that you want me to share, feel free to pop them in the private chat that we have going on back here, and I could pull those up. So Polygon name service is that's like not ENS, right? That's like what it sounds like. That's like a competing name service on Polygon.
Well, that's just it. I would say it is. I would say it falls within the ENS ecosystem.
Is it legit?
Because they built it.
Is it a legit? I mean, it's just a fork. Are you saying it's a fork of the ENS contract? I mean, it's not like. Is it ENS? Like, like GaryPalmerJr.eth. Is that my name over there, or do I got to rebuy like GaryPalmerJr.pol or something?
You would go to their website and you would mint GaryPalmerJr.pol. But here's the thing: if you were to actually use it in MetaMask, it would be sent to not GaryPalmerJr.pol. It'd be GaryPalmerJr.pol.eth. So it's almost to me, it's like a ENS subdomain using CCIP to get it on L2.
And wait, just making sure I'm understanding these pieces. Are you saying that they bought and own POL.eth, the ENS asset? They must, right?
That would be I would think that they must. That must be how it works.
You're saying that you're saying that there's a Polygon name service. You're saying that Polygon name service is like, in terms of like it being, sort of like not a scam and legitimate. It's not a scam, and it's like the people are looking at it as like a real project. And you're also saying that they're routing all the Polygon names in Ethereum through POL.eth.
I think that's a fair way to summarize it. Although, again, from a marketing perspective, they don't seem to be leveraging the fact that it is built on top of ENS using CCIP. They, seem to be trying to market it as though it is some independent Polygon name service, which to me is a little silly, because admit what it is, because what it is in fact pretty cool. And you already have the ENS community. You could sort of market it too. So there's a little bit of weirdness about how it seems they're trying to kind of
seeing this link. If you got a link, pop it over to me, because I was hearing about people talking about this as like a potential competitor to ENS, but I didn't see that there was something that was actually live. I get like unstoppable stuff, and I see like there's a Matic name service too. There's someone out. I see, I Google a Polygon name service. I'm seeing a Matic name service. So off the fly.
I linked their Twitter account, and so here's the thing. I apologize when you send it in. When you send it some tokens in MetaMask, you don't do POL.eth. You do POL.limo. So maybe this is where they actually ran into some controversy. I think what they did, they registered the DNS name POL.limo. They imported that DNS name into ENS, built a custom contract using CCIP. And so in other words, they don't own the asset POL.eth as far as I know, but rather POL.limo. Clearly they did that, to sort of take off on the ETH.limo name, who, is a great project in the ENS community. But nevertheless, as far as I understand it, my other understandings are probably correct, that the way they did it was importing POL.limo into ENS. So if you check, there you go. Okay.
Yeah. So looking here, it's POL.domains, and I'm guessing that stands for Polygon Name Service, even though they don't spell it out like anywhere. That's like really weird for SEO. That's so weird. They don't use the word Polygon Name Service. Do they use the word name service?
There's a completely different website. When you type Polygon name service, it's just like something completely else with like dot.
This came from their Twitter. Is this their Twitter? Yeah. So I got this Twitter link from
that's correct. But there's another one. When you just type in Google Polygon name service, it gives.
Yeah, I'm not gonna click. I'm not gonna click from Google. But not at this point. But I mean, going off this one. And seeing they have pricing similar to ENS, and they support that's lame. Only 3 currencies. So they could say how to resolve your PNS. So they're saying .limo or .direct.
Yeah, Gary, go down a couple more tweets. It'll read right in there that it says using ENS resolution on that tweet you were looking at with the MetaMask screenshot. So yeah, my interpretation without reading the docs is
I just want to say that I love Sean. Sean, if you ever see this, you're gonna know that I love you. You're great. Yeah, it's like it does seem suspect a little. They do got a lot of people. Let's see here. So they say they go through ENS. What does that mean? So do you know what how does this work? So PNS is.
I would say yeah.
You're cutting in and out. What's that? Can't hear you.
So my understanding would be sort of like I said.
Yeah, so this will this will take me a little bit more time just to like, you know, like understand like what's going on. They own POL.limo and they own POL.direct. So just to be clear, right? They to read between the lines, they own this. Where's my highlighter? And then they own this. So they own these two Web2 names. And then they're simply right, like basically, I mean, it's you know, I would say the sloppiness of the website makes me think this is a total money grab. The website's just really, really sloppy. It's just like it's not like a bad website. It's just, you know, and the more I look at it, it's really, really bad, because before I thought it was just a sloppy website. No, they literally copy and pasted the ENS website, the ENS.domains website, and they changed the color scheme, and they gutted it to make it like, you know, 3 slides long. And then they copy and pasted the entire ENS code base, and then they copy and pasted the .limo code base, and they copy and pasted the ENS price. They literally copy and pasted the help docs, right? I mean, to some degree, and they're just gonna make this money, and you know, we don't know who the team is. You know what I mean? Like, it's completely unknown, like who's running this, where the money is. Like, I mean, it's completely unknown minus like who John.Pol is. I don't know. So
well,
yeah.
No, let me be clear. I'm not like promoting the product, but I just did want to highlight, you know, again, I initially said there are some questions about why they marketed it the way they did, but it is a good example, right, of how you can build custom contracts and use CCIP for L2. Now, again, they might have some ulterior motives to just sort of make it out as though it's some .pol independent naming service. But, you know, foundationally, it really, again, I think what they could have done marketing wise, like you're saying, is just been transparent. Here's who we are. Here's what we did. And really what they did, come to the community and say, hey, we imported a DNS name, and, and it just happens. Again, I think, that there is an issue, of course, using POL.limo. We can kind of assume why they did that. But that aside, you could do something pretty neat, same thing, just completely transparently and legitimately, where you come in, you could use an ENS name, you could import a DNS name, and then you could add a custom contract where you could start doing subdomains on an L2 like Polygon, and it is fully functional. But again, that's really promoting, at the end of the day, like I said, ENS, and it's promoting CCIP, not the particular project.
Yo, guys, can I jump in on this one too? I see you nodding there. Thank you, Gary. It's nice to have the visual too. I hope to join you on video on one of these in the future. I'm actually kind of working on getting our little backyard shed set up as a studio at some point, so that hopefully that'll happen in the future. I love the conversation around this stuff, because it's an area of uncertainty for a lot of people, especially in the beginning of your ENS discovery. Kind of what's up with these other competing domains? How about if you send one to layer 2 or whatever? And I particularly have a frustration with Polygon, with OpenSea. I love Polygon for B card. I love interacting with Polygon direct to the contract and stuff. That's great. So it's not really Polygon. It's more like OpenSea's access to Polygon, sometimes a little buggy, but it's just the fact that like OpenSea's send function doesn't resolve Polygon address. It just doesn't make any sense to me why it wouldn't resolve your ENS when you're trying to send on Polygon. It's a really peculiar frustration, and I send a lot of giveaways and things, the 3D assets that we do with Bus 3D on Polygon, and that's like, okay, what the heck, I have to go look their address up on Vision or something, like what the hell. So that's annoying. And then I just want to drop a little bit of a hilarious tidbit, if it's all right. It was a wild,
man. Just like drop it. We're trusting you on the live stream.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Yeah, no, thank you. I had a long day on all different spaces, man. I was on 100K Club, on the Domain Plug space. I was on the morning show this morning. I was on the 24-hour club. God, it's been a marathon, dude. And I was in Gary's space earlier on that when we were jumping around his voxels spot. It was really cool. But yeah, I wanted to share that. Punks is gonna like this. I hope you guys both like this. So we're working Punk's SSH Matrix hit me up for the 100K cat project. Where he's forking the BinSick code, as and stuff for us, and deploying the contract for the subdomain project that we're doing with the avatars with the cats. And I'm like, all right. He's like, I need you to mint some 5 digits on the testnet, on Gurley. And I was like, okay, yeah, no worries. Yeah, he gets me the faucet and everything. Okay, mint a couple. I don't even know if I minted one actually before I got distracted. I gotta check and see my history, but I was like, oh shit, ENS domains, excuse my language, ENS domains on testnet, and I just started going off. I was like, okay, how much I get in this faucet? I got a couple of single emojis. I got some 999s. I got some testnet 999s. I got some other silliness, and it all kind of culminated in registering Nakamoto and subdomaining Satoshi.Nakamoto on Gurley. And I was just having a fun time with it. And then I tried to access from another computer, and I was the next day, and I was like, oh, dang, it wasn't working right. I think it's working fine now, but I was like, I wonder if ENS, I wonder if this is something that's like not advisable or can create confusion in some way or something. But anyway, I just want to share that because testnet ENS registrations could be the answer to the addiction that so many of us are suffering, needing to register something. Just go ahead and do it on the testnet. You save yourself the money.
I got bad news for you, man. You're about to lose a ton of, not lose, but you're about to spend a ton of money when the subdomains come out.
No vex.
Would be the buyer.
It's not surprising at all. You found the testnet. You found that things are available for registration widely on the testnet. I see you going ham. So, ladies and gentlemen, whoever's listening in the future, yes, ENS addiction, it is a real thing. Contact Novax. He can tell you all about it, starting with double emojis. He is always looking to talk to people about double emojis. But that said, I do have a solution for you, funny enough. So I think what you were talking about, you go to MetaMask, you go over to the Polygon network and you put in an ENS name because you want to send something on Polygon directly to the ENS name. And lo and behold, it doesn't register because MetaMask does not support ENS names natively on Polygon. Well, check this out, Novax. Go to likebutton.eth.limo and it will redirect you to tip.party, built by the Moonshot Collective, funded by Gitcoin. And you would be able to switch over to Polygon. You'll be able to create what's called a room, and then you can actually transfer directly on Polygon to ENS names natively, but also not just one at a time. You can do group transfers. So like you're saying, you're doing a giveaway. That's how I do my like button tokens. Let's say I'm giving 100 to 10 different people. I list out all 10 of the ENS names. I put 1,000 tokens and boom, do it in one single transaction, all on Polygon L2 using ENS names. So there are solutions out there. And, one of these reasons the community comes together, discusses, hey, the issues we ran into. But ultimately, I'm with you. Man, again, one of these things, their community is large. It is powerful collectively. We should organize. We should get in the MetaMask forum, which is identical, in terms of, I think it's the discourse, forum style is the ENS forum. And as a community, we should make the demand, hey, support ENS on all these L2s. That helps adoption big time. So just kind of two thoughts on that.
Yeah, I appreciate your
adoption.
May I ask?
Be good to hear from the other guys that rolled in, Gary. I'm the Batman, hasn't got a word in for a minute. And then are you still with us? Our other friend has just had Cap, you're still there with us?
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question. It's not like deviating from the conversation. You mentioned that you're working on some subdomains for ENS. Can you share a bit more? If that's fine.
Was that for me? Well,
Yeah.
I was making a general comment. I'm an advisor on the .earth project. So there's .earth.eth and
No, I know
go check that out. But my experience with the .earth and the name wrapper is going to be coming out soon. But my experience with the .earth project, even as an advisor, is that when it came out, you got one of the 10,000 PFPs, the Nomad, and the Nomad is like the first 10,000 PFP project where the 10,000 PFP piece of art is also an ENS subdomain, and they're totally connected. And if you have this Nomad, then you can mint subdomains off .earth, right? So when they released it, there's only think about this, right? It's like you're talking about the addiction of like registering from mainnet, registering from testnet. At .earth, you can go to .earth and you can register whatever on .earth, right? There's less than 4,000 names registered on .earth right now.
Yeah.
So there's so many good names. Like think about like the .earth potential, right? Like what you could register .earth, like your hometown .earth. You know what I mean? Your last name .earth. You know what I mean? And so when all these when all these names start getting wrapped, there's going to be subdomain grail potential. And the subdomain grail potential is like, let's calculate it at infinitely more valuable than the crap that people are minting right now, right? Think about the worthless stuff that someone is minting right now. If you have your local town.earth, like some town.earth is like infinitely more valuable than the worst ENS name. Disagree or agree? What do you think, Cap?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to sell me on subdomains, man. I'm working on building a project that is literally rolling out with the first feature of subdomains, subdomain issuance, and like a lot of different like customization features on how you want to sell them, how many you want to sell them. Like if you want to reserve some for yourself, like what's the minting price, what's the base price, what's the price for 2-letter domains, 3-letter domains, whitelisting people, giving discounts, everything. So I've been working on this with a team of three guys for like a few months now, and we'll be presenting soon on ENS ecosystem. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I know about the .earth project. It's a really good one. But I think Novaks, you mentioned that you are working on some subdomain stuff. So I'm curious. What can you share? Like what are you working on?
Yeah. So check out Board ENS Yacht Club, and that's a project that Punks and SSH Matrix launched with an art with 888 triple or 888 meta 8. And this beautiful collection. It's really cool. They did something special where they connected the digit rarity properties for the 10K collection, subdomain collection, digit subdomains, to the art. So if it was a palindrome, what have you, it would look one way and another for repeaters and so on. So that was cool. And we've partnered with BinSick and SSH Matrix, the dev who wrote that contract, has forked that code. So it's really kind of special and historical sort of a thing, actually, to apply that code, that really progressive and innovative code, to the 100K collection, and then now to add all this incredible metadata on top of it to really make it more complex, to really do it justice. So the 100K collection, we've done it. We've looked at all the sales data, look at the ascending, the descending, the palindromes. I mean, there's so many different categories of digit rarity, and we're doing one of ones with like 314, 115, anything that's math relevant, Euler's number, Pythagorean. I mean, it's so much stuff. It's like you can go crazy. I feel like I have a bit. I'm just wading through the numbers. But that's what we're doing with 100K cat.eth. We're putting out 100,000 subdomain avatars of 100K cat.eth. So mine will be 42059.100K cat.eth. And they all have this unique art that's extremely relevant to the digit. Not just the digit, but the macro kind of quality of the digit too.
Awesome. Sounds awesome, man.
The cat likes to party too. He's got one with a beer helmet on both sides of, he's got a hookah. I think we decided to keep the hookah in there. He's a real wildcat. The colors are very fun. The artist is from Thailand, working with the Thai team with Slan, who kind of founded all the social media and everything, has been a real treat. It's a challenge because of the time zones and everything, right? It's a real challenging offset for me in Pacific time zone with that team. It's like, dang, it's only an hour of the day. We're both awake. And, but we weathered through, for months, since like May, when we minted out the last of the 5 digits. I hosted the Mint Out Marathon. And here we are months later, having done all this art. And it's a very colorful, bright kind of a style of art. Really high quality, detail, intricate stuff that Pei Animakami has done. And so we're just really excited with where it's come. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's been a long time. There's really there's been a lot of times when we all felt like, is this ever going to happen? Will it ever come to fruition? And it's really to the credit of BinSick. It's really to the credit of SSH Matrix and the Board ENS Yacht Club team, who kind of took us, under their wing and agreed to found our multi-sig with us and really coach us through all the necessary steps and doing the proper testing and giving us that credibility of, their established, workflows and everything on all the tools. I mean, it's been really something else to have that. And just in the last weeks, it's been a behemoth, to just look at SSH, dude. The guy's a brilliant visionary. So it's just an honor and a privilege. It's not me. It's not my credit. It's really the BinSick guys. And what I've done is just kind of like help with the art pairing and trait ideation stuff. That's what I do. I'm kind of a creative director type of person. So I kind of help it all come together, put the team together, try and reach out to the right parties and make it happen. So that's what we've been doing with that. Hope you're able to snag one.
Awesome, man. Congrats. I can definitely empathize with different time zones and whatnot. Like, my team is from all over. So, syncing up with everyone, it's definitely a challenge. So, yeah.
Well, that's kind of why we were so enthusiastic about the 24-hour club and all the potential there. And Gary was hanging out with us in the 24-hour club meeting. We're talking about the metaverse clock and helping people start to see and dream and think in terms of UTC, as many of us have started to do, who've been doing the Web3 DAO thing for a minute. So that's what's necessary to help us get into the metaverse together at the same, get in the same spot, same time. So we're really hopeful that maybe after this project is done, people like maybe SSH Matrix will have some more time to help out. Karma the Game was in there offering to give some help. Alchemist, he was the guy who did the first virtual reality motorcycle ride in the early 90s. I mean, he's a real builder. His Karma the Game is really just a fantastic work of display of his ability. So I think you guys need to just understand the depth of it. You know what I mean? Like the clock, guys. It's the new clock. It's a new way we're going to tell time. No longer an atomic clock. It's an Ethereum clock, right? And it's in the metaverse. And the advertising potential is huge, but the potential for it all to be sort of by us, kind of for us type of thing is huge too. But really, all it boils down to helping people just get a better user experience of adopting UTC. I mean, that's probably the overarching vision, is just educate UTC.
I think I'd like to push toward UTC.
Yeah, I mean, I still have to count on my fingers if I'm being honest. You know what I mean? I still have to do the thumbs because I'm -7. You know what I mean? So when I'm doing it, I'm kind of like, okay. I mean, it takes me a second and everything. It's still not natural for me, and it probably never will be perfectly. But it's just a nice pivot table. You know, it's a little tool to just be able to say, I'm here, you're there. We don't have to know very much more than that, because the middle ground we can benchmark off of that UTC. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's always really hard. It's like, what time zone are you in? And sometimes like some time zones sound like other time zones. And yeah, just all going by the UTC is a great idea. And I mean, the time clock, you know, that can definitely be developed into a great product. You know, and being built on ENS and connected with ENS is really, really interesting. I guess, you know, it kind of, you know, it pivots us into the third topic I had on the agenda. I mean, I have all night, but I don't know, like when you guys have hard stops and whatnot. But third topic of the agenda, you know, is I was trying to look around for some research about the value of DNS. And so, you know, first of all, I just wanted to go over, you know, have you guys seen this before? This is a quick visualization of all the world's money. You guys ever see this? And like this square of this size equals $100 billion.
What? No. What? Where are you right now? What's this URL?
This is visualcapitalist.com.
Okay, that's cool.
And you just type in, you know, all the world's money and markets in one visual. And so if you could see this square right here where my mouse is going, that's $100 billion, right? And $100 billion. And, you know, so this is like less than 100 billion. Like all the value in the silver is like 43 billion, and all the cryptocurrency in the world. And this is like last year's numbers, which, you know, geez, with all the market crash should be about the same, right? And like all the cryptocurrency, you know, $250 billion, and the military spending and the budget deficit and the coins and the Fed balance sheet and all the money from all the billionaires and all the money from all the gold and all the money from the Fortune 500 companies and all the money from the stock markets and all the M1 money supply. And then you have all the global debt on top of the global debt. And then you have all the real estate with plus the commercial real estate, agricultural real estate. It's just really interesting to go through, you know, all this money, the global wealth from all these areas in the country, or the world, I mean. And then you get into derivatives, which, you know, go watch the Big Short. Say again?
I'm sorry to cut you off. I was just saying,
no.
I just said, like, that's a monster. Derivatives are like insane.
Yeah. So look at all this money in the world, right? All this money floating around, some of it locked up, some of it liquid. And then according to this MIT research, these researchers at MIT, they estimated the value of the you know, DNS, the domain name system, at $8 billion. But the market value of the global DNS ecosystem is roughly $8 billion annually. with additional value for domain names. And so, it's just interesting when we think about all the money in the world and we think about the market value of the global DNS system, which is more than just .com. And let's see here. Let's find ENS in here. And then compare that with the cap of the Ethereum name service, which is not $8 billion. What's our market cap? Our fully diluted market cap, 100 million, 1,000 million billion, 1.1 billion. So yeah, we're in a global crash right now. But if this was to, 10x or 100x, right? Like what is the value? Like what is the potential value? When you look at all the money, I got my tabs right here. When you look at all the money in the world, and then you see that the global the annual value of DNS is 8 billion. What do we like? What do we think about that when we compare DNS to ENS? What do you think about that? I am Batman. I am the Batman.
I'm sorry. One more time. Yeah. So I've been looking a lot into the like the annual revenue of .com names, and I found those numbers quite extraordinary in correlation to like the amount of like domains being registered right now. So that's why I kind of hopped on the bandwagon, I guess you could say, a couple months back. But these are the numbers that I was looking at primarily, like the .com ones, where like the revenue and stuff like that, like the e-commerce sites and all that kind of stuff. So that's really what interested me in ENS names, essentially. As I run some e-commerce sites. I do a clothing line on the side and stuff like that. So yeah, these numbers, that's a big growth. It's a big growth.
Yo, Gary, I'm gonna chime in on it too, man, because this is right up my alley. I even have some stuff I might want to share on my screen on this, bro. It was some of my first DNS I registered again. I had some over the years. I let them go. But last year I started grabbing some more DNS. One of them I got was megamarketcap.com. I also have metamarkets.org and metamarketcaps.com as well, I think, and some others that are derivatives of that. And the idea was I had been spending some time on CoinMarketCap and I'm really familiarizing myself with the kind of Bitcoin dominance ratios, becoming aware of the total market cap of crypto in terms that were that you don't really think of, like with this visual, like the way that we are here on all the world's money and markets in one visualization with the Visual Capitalist site. And this kind of visualization just gives you the ability, I guess, to see contextually like these quantities. And you're right. I mean, that observation about the derivatives, man, like I'm the Batman. Yeah, dude. I mean, that's shocking for me. Even I worked in the financial markets as an insurance and securities advisor for like a number of years. I was in that field for like about a decade. So yeah, these notional values and stuff, this is like, what the heck? Like, well, this is all derivative. This is wild. I don't understand, how we explain that, or if it's even close to reasonable. I mean, if anything, it just shows how fragile and fiat this whole system is. But absent of the derivatives, okay, so absent of the which are massive, they outweigh everything on here. I mean, by orders of magnitude, which is crazy. But take a minute and go back over to, I'm going to send you a couple sites now, Gary, to think of. We use CoinMarketCap a lot, right? In the metrics right now, even after the crash, gas is at 24 GUI. Everyone's selling. Panic sell. Yeah, gas at 24 GUI. Bitcoin dominance at 38%. ETH at 17%. So it's just interesting to see the market cap has fallen under $1 trillion, 825 billion market cap. Fascinating. And then look at this. Another website I discovered, Gary, while I was on this hunt to understand market capitalization better and its effect on price and on price movements and so on. I was wondering about what's the relationship between crypto, and the world's money, just the way that this article has explored out. So thank you. This is why I'm saying it's right up my alley. Go to companiesmarketcap.com. Okay, companiesmarketcap.com. We show you total market cap of the publicly traded stocks is 78 trillion. Wow. Okay, compare that to we're just under 1 trillion in our crypto world. 78 trillion right now. When I last looked at this, we were about approaching 2 trillion on the crypto markets, and the companies markets were about 120 trillion or 120. So both have contracted. Now, the last thing I want to show you is an additional resource called Fiat Market Cap. I discovered all of these in the process of doing this research. Fiatmarketcap.com does the same, but for fiat currencies, right? So it's Fiat Market Cap, and it's Bitcoin maximized. It's like basically shows you in the Bitcoin Satoshi's price and everything as well. So it's pretty dope to actually look at from that perspective. It's a good site. Highly advise you to look at this over the next, months and years and watch it change. But yeah, check this out. Now you can see recently the Chinese, yuan has surpassed the USD with the largest supply and everything. As that was a kind of a significant moment in the world's history. But if you look at the fiat currencies, like the capital that's in fiat currencies, fiat market cap priced in Bitcoin, super interesting to see what it is there. What is it, Gary? Can you read it too? I don't have my glasses up here.
For which one?
The fiat market cap up at the top of fiatmarketcap.com. It's priced in Bitcoin.
The fiat market. Oh my God, it's priced in Bitcoin. 100,000 million billion 7.2. Let's round it. 7.3 billion Bitcoin.
Is that right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I don't even know.
That's a lot of Bitcoin. They don't make that much Bitcoin.
Yeah, we need to get this in dollars. You know what I mean? Like, I'm surprised that this isn't expressed in dollars either. But when I was doing it, it was actually really helpful to me that was in Bitcoin, because I was looking at it from that perspective. But yeah, take a look at these and realize these additional resources. But I really think this article that you shared, Gary, does everything and more that I was looking for. But what I had in mind when I registered those domains, megamarketcap.com and metamarkets.org and stuff, was the idea of these are static visualizations, right? They show us a snapshot right now, and that's great. Tomorrow it's something different, but we can't look back at yesterday and say, oh, what was it yesterday? These sites are not showing us historical data. So I think it'd be really cool to create a visualization that track that over time, because I want to watch the Bitcoin dominance go up, and I want to watch the fiats go down, but they're really probably just transition into CBDCs. But anyway, the visualizations will be cool over time. So I thought a meta market caps that kind of encompasses all of this and shows the movement over it, the additional component of the temporal chronological aspect of it would be useful as a visualization.
Yeah, I mean, that's the value of .com and Web 2 and connecting with people on Web 2. And then you can also do a similar thing in Web 3, right? And so all of these websites with all this information is adding to the value of like the .com, the annual .com domain market at $8 billion annually. And so, yeah. So, I mean, when we compare, is this even comparable? Is it possible to compare the value, the $8 billion annual market value of DNS, all of DNS, not just .com, with the annual market value of ENS, or the future potential market value, a more mature Web3 ENS market? Can we compare the value of that to the $8 billion for DNS annually? What do you guys think? I'm just trying to take what this is saying about DNS value, and I'm just trying to, figure out how does this relate to ENS.
I think your 8 billion sounds, pretty small when you hold it up against the world's economy, especially, I mean, when you're looking at the whole crypto market, I mean, itself is significantly more than that. So that's actually kind of, I think it's a fairly modest number. But I don't know exactly how it's being derived. So I'm curious to know, like, is that the amount of money that's spent, that changes hands on domains, I guess, just registrations and secondary, or just secondary. And I'm trying to understand the number a little better, but feels small, kind of. I know it sounds weird to say 8 billion small, but in the macro context, there's a lot bigger sectors in the economy out here. How does it compare to ENS? Well, Gary, I love to know the market cap of ENS in general, like of the domains themselves and all that. I love to have better visualization tools on both.
That is a really cool, like, what is the market cap of all the ENS names? Not the ENS token, but what's the market cap of all the ENS names?
Well, if you count all my grails,
trillion dollars. Check this out. This is saying, according to BGG, that estimates 18% of all .com domain names are registered exclusively for sale by domainers, with an average price of $16.60. That'd be interesting to get comparable numbers for ENS. Like how many? Some people would say like 100%.
No, the ENS, the sentence on the same report would read something like it's 99% of the .eth domains names are currently registered exclusively for resale by DGens, with the average price of 100 Ethereum in 2022.
Yeah, this is interesting. We talk about abuse in the ENS market, and this right here is talking again about up here talked about the lack of transparency, right? These activities, calculated business activities, a centralized ecosystem of. They're saying that DNS is a decentralized ecosystem, which is very interesting coming into our ears. And they're saying the lack of transparency. It's interesting. They say decentralized ecosystem and lack of transparency. So the lack of transparency is an issue there. And then they're saying the lack of transparency in the secondary market is additionally problematic. And this is related to the FTX discussion, right? It's like there's a lot of problems with FTX because and centralized exchanges because we lack transparency. And here in the DNS, right, the centralized domain system, even within a decentralized, right, it's like it lacks transparency, which, ENS has major transparency. What do you think? I am Batman and Cap, the Cap.
This whole time I was just thinking, like, when you compare ENS to the DNS in terms of utility, I think I was doing a research recently for writing some ENS article that I will publish soon, and Nick said that the ENS long-term vision is to be the naming system for every digital resource in the world. So when you think about it, you can use ENS like to resolve not just wallets and wallet addresses and use it for usernames, but like think in terms of like future metaverses and whatnot. So like you could name like your every digital asset, like your apartment, a street, a billboard, or like whatever, anything that's in the digital realm, so it can have like a ENS name that resolves to it. Another thing, like in terms of utility, is like I think if social networks adopt ENS naming system, and I think once the decentralized social media starts to become more popular, they will I think they will all have to have some kind of subdomain name mechanic issuance that they would need to just be able to not control, but like have an overview and do a bunch of different things with their users. So like imagine like if Twitter minted, like I don't know how many users Twitter has, and like if they minted like ENS name or subname to all of them, and then Facebook does the same, and then on Instagram you have to do the same, and all of that stuff. So you can just kind of file them. I mean, I don't know, just like in terms of utility, it's really, really not comparable. So to say that it's like 10 times or 20 times could be bigger than DNS, it's probably an understatement in my opinion. So I don't know, that's just my 2 cents.
And to chime in, if I could, on top of that, so like with the utility wise, I've actually been playing with these things called Heaven's Tools, by the creator is Dylan Mater. That's actually like a little group I have going on of a bunch of builders trying to create websites with these tools that we can use as like a .com, like whatever the .com would be. You could type in like I'm the Batman.eth and it'll open up like it'll stream through normal, like it'll search normal through like a website. It might take a little slower, on the back end because there are some extra steps that has to go through. We're still kind of playing with that and learning how that kind of stuff works with these tools. But essentially, we could build websites, drag and drop kind of tools, where we could build like a Shopify or whatever you want to build as a website. So that's what me and a couple of the guys, I know ENS Punks and Novax are both in the group, and can't wait to start working with them as well on the project. But yeah, so as far as utility wise, there are a lot of use cases for not just, naming things, and that is a great idea and stuff, but there are potential, I see like on the back end, coming from the e-commerce side, there are so many use cases for these names for online, decentralized stores, for people to host their own in-house applications or like the products they have in-house as well, and not paying these back-end fees with Shopify or these hosting websites. So that's primarily where I'm going with it and what I'm focused on working with. But yeah, definitely like the whole concept of what all use cases are with these names essentially themselves. That's why I've been just buying them up every day.
Yeah, in the future things are going to be built on top of ENS, and in retrospect it's going to be so obvious. But right now we're just like pretty much making some assumptions based on what we have so far. So yeah. By the way, guys, it's almost 5 a.m. for me, so I have to jump off because I'm literally, halfway asleep. So nice to meet you all for the first time officially on live stream. Thank you, Gary, for hosting. And yeah, looking forward to many more of these, but maybe in some more appropriate, like European time for European friends. Please keep it in mind.
Yeah. We plan on figuring out how to get these clipped too. But listen, I apologize. I didn't ask for your time zone. I just shared what time it was going to be. And 5 o'clock, you either got to get up and take a shower, or you got to go to bed, or one of the two. I don't know.
No, don't worry. He's joined the 24-hour club. He won't ever make the mistake again. He only thinks in UTC now. I'm right, Gary?
That's right. That's right.
I actually am in a 24-hour club, and I bought recently a ENS name there. I can't remember what it is, but yeah, I did it, and then I put like an avatar from the mid journey AI algorithm that generates some like pictures with the like a string of names that you give him. So yeah, I'm already there, brother. But yeah, anyway, guys, again, nice to meet you all. Best of luck with your projects and whatever you're doing. Happy streaming onwards, and I'm signing off. Bye, guys.
See you later. Take care.
Nice chatting with you, Cap.
Have a good night, brother.
See you, Cap. Yeah, thanks for having me, Gary, and for doing this. I really hope that you keep these going strong, and I'm happy to lend a hand in whatever way I'm able with the clipping. I mean, there's some really easy stuff. You might not just have time for it, but I mean, just kind of doing it on mobile even is something handy. You can kind of use the mobile screen record function and grab a clip and edit it down that way really easily, and then just slap some bookends on it. I mean, maybe upload it to Dropbox. You can grab it from desktop and go in Premiere Pro, or you can use some stuff from mobile. I mean, some production pipelines, I'm sure, but it's going to be good to cut the long format stuff down. I think that's the way you generate the long format, and then you give people the goodies, you know?
Yeah, man, let's have a one-on-one and connect. Either this week or next. Let's talk about some things for sure.
Right on.
Because I just want to keep on having these streams. I just want to basically keep on having, Twitter Spaces on YouTube. And, I have the studio, I have this platform, I have this setup. We could get up to 10 people on the stage. And, we can do presentations on live on YouTube. And this is being, just so you know, this is being simulcast. So, I mean, the YouTube numbers are the YouTube numbers, but this is being live broadcast on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, and also on Rumble. And so we can have these public presentations, these live streams, these interactive streams. People can interact inside the chat. We can have spreadsheets. We can have Google Docs for the audience to interact with. We can just reach a lot of people talking about ENS, because just YouTube has a much stronger reach, and video, I just feel is a much stronger medium.
Let's take people into the metaverse as well, into your spaces.
Yeah.
Right? We can.
We should do the crypto voxels thing that we did today. We should live stream that experience.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a wonderful experience, and there's so many people out there. I can't wait to bring some of my other friends in here, big metaverse people who love to come in and chat with you and do exactly this kind of format and hear just that. Say that at the beginning. This is being streamed on all these platforms, even just to let people know, but really more, to broadcast that, you know what I mean? That's a great functionality to have, man. And the screen sharing aspect of it too. I mean, that you put some metaverse stuff in here, give people an onboarding lesson. This is how you get into Decentraland. This is how you do it. It's just this easy. Make it really accommodating and inviting for people.
Yeah, totally. I was gonna say too, to I'm the Batman. Let's have a stream where we just go over the Heavens tools. Let's have a stream where we just check out that cool video chat thing, or start putting that out there.
Yeah, definitely. I could also get in contact with the creator himself and see if he would be open to come and talk about it. That's where it kind of started. A group of guys were interested in what the tools did. Then I got him involved in a space that we were all in, because I hit him up and I was like, hey man, look, I'm talking about this. I don't want to drag it through the dirt or anything. I want the facts. Everybody wants hear from the source itself. So can you kind of come talk about it? And then from there, just kind of snowballed. I was like, bro, you need to get a space together. We all need to start working on something together. And, last couple nights, we've been up late, and I haven't slept in a couple of days. Thank God for this hurricane coming through, because I got a couple of days off now. So I get to be playing with some tools and stuff. So yeah,
that's some serious fucking lemonade you just made out of some lemons.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah, that's about it. That's how the snowball just kind of been going. But yeah, if you're interested, I could reach out to him, and even just kind of what we're working on. But got to give credit with the creator. That's all.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's exactly what this is for educating and inspiring. Not just. I mean, Twitter Spaces is great because it's easy, right? It's like a hot knife through butter, as opposed, because you could just listen while you're jogging, you listen while you're driving. Video is a little bit harder because you have to watch it, but at the same time, video is perfect to be able to show people, because it's scary to jump into a new tool. So if you're showing people what to click on, if we're reaching people, if we're having a group with different levels of experience talk about it, like I say, we could get up to 10 people on this call. So yeah, let's do it. Let's get Dylan, let's get you, let's get Novax and ENS punks back, and someone share their screen and show us what's up.
That's what it's all about, guys. We're really growing something here. It's a very early moment, as we always say, but that opportunity means that you get to build the relationships. So having a chance to connect with you here is something I did not want to miss. I thought, if I can get to know Gary a little bit better, who knows who else will be in there, what we'll talk about.
You don't know who's listening either across all the channels, and you don't know who's going to see these videos in the future.
And now when you describe the level of syndication that you're doing, you know, with the StreamYard setup and everything, it's like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of weight behind what your comment there. You really don't know. And I'm glad to get the word out there about ENS domains and what we're doing over here, because we are kind of in our echo chamber on the spaces a lot. This is exactly what needs to happen, Gary. So I'm really glad that you're breaking this free. Thank you for doing it, man. I'm going to spend some time with the family right now. I got an appointment to lose chess against my dad again. And then I'll probably
well, Novax, you got a question from G Baz. G Baz is asking, is the 24-hour club minted out?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, there's 1,440 minutes in the day, and all of those, you know, representations as ENS domains in the syntax that we use, 2-digit H, 2-digit, have been minted out. But the floor price has sunk down quite low, and the price of ETH has gone down quite low too. So it's a 0.03 when I looked earlier today, something like that. You could scoop one on ENS.vision or any of the marketplaces or whatever. So take a look and see if you want to grab one. It's kind of a good time to do that. Not financial advice, of course. By the way, notfinancialadvisor.eth. That's in my bag, Gary. That one's that one's going to go for something. I think it's a funny enough one. But yeah, not financial advice. But definitely check us out, and if you want to have a minute, one thing we're doing is ensclock.com. That's just kind of our proof of concept of what we could do with these domains. Just a clock, counts down 60 seconds, shows the avatar for each of those domains. And we were just talking today about all the ways we like to build that out as the metaverse clock in 3D with advertising utility and all kinds of stuff. So it's a cool club to be a part of. We're in an early ideation phase, and we have some development, but it's time for us really to build our development out. So if you know developers, you can lend a hand, 3D modelers and stuff. We're really looking to build the crew.
Very cool. Thanks for showing up. And yeah, maybe you'll be a guest again, man. Look, yeah, you're definitely always invited. Talk to you soon. Have a good night. Good luck in that shed.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. Yeah, that's the thing, bro. Got to have a good spot to do this. Get the good sound. I got the good microphone. I got the space to do it. I just got to, you know, get it tidied up and get it hooked up with the power and all this stuff. I can't wait. Looking forward to it.
How's this mic? Has my mic been too muffled or?
No, bro. I was going to tell you, your sound is so clean. No, it's really good. It's like you have a different voice. Yeah, I think the TS files on Twitter Space they detract, they steal something, and your mic that you're using is improving. So it's like better.
Well, I'm not using my phone. I'm using this thing.
Yeah, it's a quality. What do you have? Like a blue? I didn't see. Is that a blue? Yeti blue?
It's a blue Yeti.
Yeah, I have the same one. I have the same one on a 3/8 mic snake and mounted onto my bookshelf by my downstairs. I love those mics. They're USB.
Make sure you get the sound. Make sure you get the sound stabilizer too.
Man, you're a wizard. You got the whole thing. Is that your real brick or is that a background?
$15 paper from Amazon.
Oh, you slap it up?
Yeah, it's like it you know, it's like really like a smaller than a sheet of paper, but it unfolded. Cool. And you know, I kind of just like tacked it up, and then I taped the edges to make it taut.
Nice.
And yeah, it's pretty beautiful, and I don't have to waste the processing speed on blurring my background.
You look good too. Like the lighting is nice. You have some kind of lighting set up there in front of you as well.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
I'm actually, yeah, I only have two. I thought I had 3-point lighting, but it's 2-point lighting right now.
Does it get kind of bright on your eyes and stuff, or is it okay?
So one of my lights is the one in front. I have two lights in front of me, and the one it's on is just a little bright, but it's far enough that it's not a problem for me. But what you do is you get the umbrella. There's like an umbrella diffuser.
Nice. So it's not like blinding. Yeah.
Hold on, Novax, before you go, and thank you, for jumping in. It's fun talking to you always, of course. And but before you go, you're complimenting Gary on everything from sound, the mic, to the background, to the lighting. You forgot. Have you noticed his hat? You got to ask him about the hat, the official ENS merch.
I just zoomed in on it, man. Oh man, that is clean, Gary. Oh, dude, I didn't realize you had a 222, man. What are you? Who are you? You're some kind of high order gangster. Oh, it's another thing I was gonna say, guys, real quick. It's just a funny joke. You guys like the show IT Crowd at all? It's if you don't know it, you gotta find it and discover it. But the Elders of the Internet episode, just a hilarious episode. Just the concept of the elders of the internet. I think of the DNS guys like that now. I started to think of them like, originally I was like, okay, that's the old guard, you know. Now I'm like, that's the old guard. Those are the OGs, you know. So I'm trying to tip my hat to them a little more and learn from them a little more. But yeah, it's cool to see you got the official merch, Gary. How does that go? You got to order it on the site or what? Do you have to validate that you own that ENS in order to print the merch?
Yeah. It's all true, all of it. It's true. The URL is ensmerchshop.xyz, and you have to connect your wallet, and okay, and just so you know, the name the name needs not the. It doesn't matter who owns the name. It matters who controls the name. It needs to be in the controller's address, not the registrant's address. But you connect your wallet, it sees what names are are in the controller for that address, right? I'm not saying that sentence correctly, but you know what I'm saying. That address is what ENS names that address is the controller for. And yeah, you get a dad hat. You get the white there embroidered with the embroidered logo on the two sides. Yep,
bro,
cool.
How much more clean would crown emoji Nick.eth look though on that hat? Just saying.
They don't do emojis.
Okay, that's discriminatory. We got to file a grievance.
You can.
Emoji crowd's gonna be pissed.
You can.
That's cool.
This is produced through this project called General Magic. And you can send your grievances to generalmagic.io. But there are solution services for impacting DAOs. But also shout out to MetaFactory, because I love MetaFactory, and MetaFactory also does merch. But
those guys,
I like
it, man.
I like General Magic, and these are high quality hats. And also they might be limited. They might be limited. So there might be like one of 1,000 for the first run.
You got to find a perfect combo of rarity and collector. I know Gary V is into those flea markets and garage sales, and he'd be into.
Oh my God! Someone should reach out to Gary V and have Gary V get a V Friends hat.
Heck yeah! You know what? Shabbat has got.
Someone has to drop that idea to Shabbat.
Yeah, he's got that bullish bull or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know it.
You guys are my homies. It's hard to say goodbye to you guys always. I really enjoy the time, and it's always good, stimulating conversation. I love it. Gary, I really appreciate you doing this, man, and inviting me. It's an honor, and to be invited back even, you know what I mean? I'd love to spend some time.
Talk to you later, man. You do what you got to do.
I will. Punks, I'll see you later, man.
Your compliments are like 15 minutes long, so you're just going to go through the whole 15-minute spiel again.
I know, fucking stop, man. Enough. But yeah, I do appreciate you. Thank you guys. And Punks, you gotta get at me more, bro. We gotta hang out more. I miss you, dude. We gotta hang out more. We're both so busy, but we gotta spend some time in the bar this Friday. I'll see you over there, all right?
Yeah, love you, Novak. See you at the happy hour.
Later, guys.
Cool. What's up? I am the Batman.eth and ENSpunks.eth. You guys want to call it a night, or you got any like burning like topics you want to talk about?
I was gonna say, actually, I'm probably gonna call it a night. I got some weather coming in. I want to make sure everything's good to go and charged up.
You want to live stream through the hurricane?
Oh man, I don't know. I got a couple things I'm trying to go jump on real quick. I know the boys are waiting, so I might go jump into Discord and whatnot and do all that with them. So I don't want to keep them waiting, but it was definitely a pleasure. Yes. I appreciate it. Definitely would love to come back and talk about that if you have time and you want to do that. Just hit me up.
Sounds great, man. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you real soon.
I'm the Batman.
What's up,
It was fun talking with you tonight. I've noticed you building, like you talked about a little bit with Heaven's Tools. So I love to see that, man. Keep up the good work with the group.
Hey man, appreciate that, brother. And yeah, so you hop in there to yourself. So I mean, if you see us on live, I'm always sharing my screen, trying to show somebody something, or somebody's doing something like that. So just hop on in, man. You too, Gary.
Definitely.
All right, guys. I'll see you later. Have a great night.
See.
Yeah, so Gary, I'm in the same boat. You know, here I got the storm coming in, but you know that last topic you were talking about. I don't know if you're ready to wrap up, but I was thinking about it. I was doing research and as I was listening to everybody else talk. So this kind of goes back to DNS valuation, 8 billion kind of a year. I wonder where they come up with that number. One thing I wanted to look at, and it's I had no idea what it would be. It's a little mind-boggling, but what I wanted to see is the number of online transactions per day. I couldn't really come up with that, but I came up with the annual like e-commerce sales, and so last year it would have been $5.2 trillion in e-commerce, which to me is like, okay, that's pretty shocking actually. And then they project by with the growth, maybe by two different things I'm looking at. One says 2025, the other says 2027. It'll be at 15 trillion. So we're going to triple that in 5 years. It's mind-boggling. And so the interesting thing there is sort of, you look at DNS and you say, well, 70% of all DNS names really aren't used. So of that, only 30% are. And of course, most of those transactions are going to a much smaller percent. So really, the idea would be this is how many, what's the dollar value of all transactions across the Ethereum blockchain? Because you could pretty easily say every transaction in a short order should be going through ENS on the Ethereum blockchain, potentially even on L2s. And I don't know what that number is. But the other thing is
there's two numbers there. You have every value transaction on the Ethereum blockchain, and then you have the segment of those transactions where one of the two wallet addresses used ENS.
But what I'm saying is it should eventually almost be like 99% of every single daily transaction on Ethereum does involve ENS names. And then kind of the next thought is this is Ethereum and ENS names should cannibalize a lot of DNS because of the additional utility built in that, hey, this is a wallet. It's built right in. You rip out the middlemen. So, just like kind of the interesting thought is of that $5.2 trillion today, that $15 trillion in 5 years, you start adding in the middlemen. So the credit card processor, that is, whatever, a couple percent of that 15 trillion, once you start talking 15 trillion, you're talking to some real money. So, imagine you could kind of look at that and say, well, you could start giving back $150 billion into the pocket of vendors and merchants. And at that point, it's almost a no-brainer on top of everything, kind of like I Am Batman was saying, who started building and realized pretty quickly, hey, I don't need to pay those middleman fees of Shopify, of Square, of all these other e-commerce websites where you pay hosting fees, you pay these credit card transaction fees. I mean, it sells itself. You really just need to get that message out there. And again, the vast majority of all those fees are obviously, going through platforms like Amazon and, Alibaba, I'm sure, stuff like that, where that'd be hard to convert them potentially to ENS. But at the same time, why not? You get one of those people, it could flip pretty easily. So, I don't know where I'm going with it, but these were some numbers I was contemplating. And I really don't know where they even came up with the $8 billion per year. I know how we come up with our market cap, even at the height of the ENS token valuation. I mean, we could easily just shy of 10xing our market cap. So, it's 8 billion a year DNS versus what could potentially be between 8 and 10 billion market cap valuation fully diluted for ENS. And
with
then
10x. That's 110x, which is nothing in crypto.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. We were already there, right? We're pretty much right after the airdrop. We were there, maybe at the height, it was between 80, close to $90. I mean, it's not far off. I think maybe today we're around $10 with the sort of big, issues in the market. So it's not far-fetched to think more than a 10x is certainly possible. But again, they're talking about some annual kind of valuation, wherever they come up with that, versus our market cap. So those are different numbers, but
well, like you said, it would be interesting to figure out how exactly to dive into the actual, because we're going over the Forbes article. It'd be interesting to go over the actual report just to see how they metriced it out, and then to apply the same formula to ENS, because there's no way that ENS doesn't eclipse DNS just because of like the additional use cases and what Web3 is doing to everything.
Agreed. And so I don't know if it was you or Novak. Somebody brought up the interesting question. I think it was Novak, but you commenting on it made me think about it. What would be the market cap of the actual ENS names? And so you could ask the same question, and you looked at it like maybe what the average price, the listing price of DNS names was. But if you start to think about that and look at that, that's where a lot of the utility also comes in, because again, hey, one of these social media platforms implements sign-in with Ethereum, and then the value of the ENS names, it just exponentially grows because of even that use case, which, a regular DNS name is never going to have that global identity use case. And
or the subdomain use case.
Or the subdomain use case, right? Exactly. So you do kind of run into this issue where, like, look, there are I don't know what they call them, dark markets, black markets for these social media handles, and some of those shorter handles, some of those desirable handles do go for tens of thousands of dollars, and that is like a sandbox platform username. And so hey, if ENS becomes what we all think it is, as again, this singular use case global identity protocol with sign-in with Ethereum across multiple social media platforms. I mean, just imagine what those handles would be if there happened to be a universal handle across all social media platforms, where a handle in a singular platform can go for tens of thousands of dollars. I mean, it's like it does become sort of it runs away from what your imagination can wrap around value, and you're really not even getting into the commercial use cases where, again, you're just like in DNS world, you're building websites, but you're ripping out the middlemen of this $5.2 trillion a year e-commerce, which doesn't take into account those costs of hosting fees, which you could rip out of, those transactional fees with banks, credit card processors, merchant services. So it's very promising. I'd say that, you got to somehow add in those middlemen fees that get ripped out and gutted with ENS, Ethereum, because, hey, that is value, and that's like the value proposition. So overall, I thought it was a pretty interesting topic. I thought, before we wrap it up, I'd bring up some of these numbers and sort of lingering thoughts here. Yeah, no, this was fun, Gary. I'm glad you did it. I'm glad you started minting coins back up. It is a little different than the spaces. It felt more like sort of intimate conversation, run a little differently. But hey, that could just be you, right? I could see you doing some spaces as well, and just continue to grow the footprint that you've already got within the ENS ecosystem between Web3 domains. And you talk about all the time, adding content through these different mediums. And I see the value for sure. So, like I said, I owe Web3 domains that article. So probably I think, like we talked about, most fitting would be something.
Well, I want to increase your visibility. I want to get you out there too, man. I mean, it's funny. We were, like Unfolded Life and I were looking at we were revisiting the goals and the business plan for Web3 domains, because we were asking ourselves, when, like, how long are we doing this for? Like what is what is like the financial, like, goals? And we were looking at our business plan for this, and our financial goals for Web3 domains does not include making money. The goals were, yeah, it was so funny. It was like, I was like, oh yeah, about that. I checked the notes, and like, zero. It's like we're looking to make $0 because the stated goals for Web3 domains are to have Web3 content found through Web3 sources, right? Like Google SEO. And two, the goal is to increase the visibility of thought leaders and writers in the Web3 space. And it doesn't really have like a strong like monetization angle, just because if I was going to add a monetization angle, I would have to like sell advertising, which I'm not against selling advertising on, and I'm not against sponsorships, but it has to be the right stuff. And in the news business, it's really difficult to get the right advertisers. And so what I want to do is that I want to just help people, and in the process of figuring out how do I help people and make money, monetize, that's where minting coins came back into the picture. Because with minting coins, I can get a stronger reach, and I can get more people to, listen to the content, to hear the content, to see the content. We can talk about the articles in Web3 domains, and then maybe we're going to make a membership section. We're going to be able to say things that, we're going to own the content 100%. It's going to be behind our paywall. And we're going to be able to say things that we can't say on YouTube, and just building that community. And, with the Minting Coins brand, it's just, I have this whole brand, like as part of like what we're doing. And yeah, we even have the trademark. We have Minting Coins trademarked as well, which a lot of people said we couldn't do, but we did it.
That's always the best thing to do. Those things people tell you cannot do. It feels good to prove people wrong, and to kind of overcome that adversity. And that is, other people tell you all the time what you can do, what you can't do, and that's that's the right attitude. It's like that's the attitude I see a lot in this space, and it's just the right approach. To kind of say,
yeah,
I don't
got to
care.
do it. You just got to do the damn thing. You just got to just keep on doing it, and just do 1% every day, and keep on doing 1% every day. And it's really hard, and what's cool is doing it with people and having a community. So thank you very much for coming on the show. Thank you very much for everybody tuning in. If you're watching right now, please like this video. Liking the video helps. It really helps the ratios. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And ENS Punks, I hope I can get you back on the show again sometime, if not on a regular basis.
No, of course, this was great, and thank you for everything you do for ENS and the community, Gary. You're really good.
Yeah, well, right back at you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that coming from you. All right. So with that being said,
all right. Well,
anything you want to plug before you go, ENS Punks? Anything you want to plug? And where can people find you?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was cutting out a little bit. I guess find me on Twitter at Punks, and that's until we get our community gets signed in with Ethereum implemented in Twitter, and then you better believe it will be enspunks.eth. But until then, at ENS Punks on Twitter. And that's actually my handle pretty much across all the platforms. Though I don't have any social media, but you'll find me there on Discord. You'll find me at ENS Punks in the ENS DAO forum. I think I have Instagram and recently YouTube created handles. I logged on the ENS Punks YouTube handle, but any of that stuff. But that instant branding, awesome. So how to do it, and then can you sing?
You're cutting in and out a little bit, but I caught most of it. And be safe in the hurricane weather. Take care. And everybody, we'll see you soon. And, you know, in between then, now, and back and again, you know, together, we are minting coins.